Hey everyone, REDyTay here, back at it with another solo Pokemon challenge. Hoothoot might have been a somewhat one-dimensional weak Pokemon, but it surprisingly held its own against fully evolved Pokemon around its level. This challenge will focus on a stronger Psychic type that I feel doesn't get much attention. In today's challenge, we are going to see how Mr. Mime performs in FireRed. For starters, Mr. Mime is much stronger than what we have been used to in our previous challenge. Its base stats are basically twice that of Hoothoot. That being said, I am actually surprised Mr. Mime is sporting such a low HP. I knew the attack and defense would be on the low side with the special stats being much higher, but the low HP really brings out Mr. Mime's gimmick, which involves setting up barriers to help shield itself and your team. This Pokemon doesn't have a lot of health, so it might need to spend some time raising its defenses to last longer in battle. If you don't know already, I'm not a big fan on doing a lot of setup in battle, so this might be a little tedious for me. However, I don't have much of a choice when it comes to this moveset. There aren't many attacking moves, and most of these moves center around defense setup or preventing our opponent from attacking. It's nice to know we get some good Psychic attack staples, and Magical Leaf is an interesting addition. The TM list looks promising, but at this glance I think the only move I'm interested in is probably Thunderbolt. It's nice to have a little variety in special type attacks though. I'm showing the type coverage here, but it doesn't really help since it only shows Mr. Mime's type matchup in later generations when he is part Psychic and Fairy. In this challenge, we really only need to worry about Dark, Ghost, and I guess Bug types? Okay, this intro's getting a little long, let's go through the rules and get going. I can only use Mr. Mime throughout the whole run. I can still use other Pokemon for HM use so we can still get around. No cheats, hacks, or glitches to advance, and I will also be sticking with the trend where I won't use any items in battle, only held items given to Mr. Mime before the battle. I know this challenge is most likely going to be possible to beat. The reason I'm doing it is I feel like Mr. Mime doesn't get a lot of attention thanks to the Aberline and Mewtwo. I want to see how well it does on its own as a less recognized Psychic type. So, just like all Generation 1 challenges, we need to get our starter from Professor Oak. So I used the Pokemon Randomizer to replace Charmander with Mr. Mime. None of the starters are particularly stronger against us. I mean, Bulbasaur is actually weak against us considering it is part poison. I chose Squirtle because I feel like Blastoise's defenses could be troublesome in future battles. Anyway, I nicknamed Mr. Mime Dr. Time since it rhymes and sticks with my nerdy shtick. Stat-wise, we are already showing the base stat distribution we talked about earlier. I'm already not liking the HP that much, but I love the special defense and attack. Our nature is timid, so we have increased speed and decreased physical attack. That's okay, it doesn't really affect us since I don't plan on using many physical attacks and our speed is already good to begin with. Actually, that was another thing that surprised me when I first looked at the stats. I did not know Mr. Mime was actually that fast. The other important thing to note is our ability, Soundproof. We are immune to sound-based attacks, which is a very interesting dynamic for gameplay. This will probably pop up in ways I don't see coming in future battles. Speaking of battles, we have our first rival battle and it is quite uneventful. We spam Confusion and Squirtle only hits us once before going down. Well, not much to say about that other than we do the few tasks we do at the start of the game and we jump right into the optional rival battle in less than 10 minutes. We only got one level in during that whole time, and yeah, it might look a little scary battling a level 9 Pidgey, but we are faster than it, so our first Confusion confused it hurt itself in Confusion, and then another Confusion took it out. Well, now we're at level 7, and Squirtle withstands Confusion better. That being said, its tackle isn't doing much, even with a Tail Whip. So we just stick with Confusion, and soon Squirtle goes down too. So now we just have to go through Viridian Forest and battle every trainer there for the experience. We really just need a couple more levels, since statistically Psychic types usually have success against Rock types this early in the game. None of the bug catchers in the forest give us any problems, and we get a lot of experience on this leg of the journey. Both Geodude and Dr. Time are at level 12 when the battle against Brock starts, and we are of course faster, and Confusion deals a lot of damage, and it confuses Geodude. This is a great start. Geodude just does a defense curl which will do nothing to help it here, so Confusion wraps this part of the battle quickly. Onix withstands Confusion better than Geodude, but it still hits hard. We take a Rock Tomb and suffer a speed drop. Wow, one speed drop and Onix is already faster than us. Tackle hardly does a thing, meanwhile Confusion almost takes Onix out. Another Tackle and another Confusion, and the first gym badge is easily ours. Mount Moon is a lot like Viridian Forest. I knew this challenge was going to have some easy parts considering Psychic is still a really strong type, especially in the early section of Generation 1 games, even in the remakes. We do have to leave in the middle of it though, considering we only have one attacking move and power points are limited. Well, we do learn Double Slap, but we can't rely on that weak move when there are hikers around. But besides that, all these battles are easy and we are going strong, getting experience and gaining levels. We are learning some good moves too, but also at the same time, I'm not sure if I'm going to use these moves considering historically I've never really used them. I'm not big on defense setup moves unless we really need them, and I would like to have more attacking moves than what we have at the moment. Substitute could be nice, so I'll probably hold on to that one more than the others. As soon as we get out of Mount Moon, we heal up at Cerulean City and go straight to another rival battle. Pidgeotto takes a lot of damage from Confusion, and we suffer an accuracy drop from its sand attack. Another Confusion, and we are now battling REDyTay. Confusion misses, but we just take a little damage from a tackle and a quick attack. The next Confusion is a normal one-shot, so we are still doing good here. Squirtle takes Confusion, then wastes its turn with a withdrawal, so Confusion knocks it out soon after. We just have to deal with Abra, but like we all know, it can't attack us, so we easily take it out from there. Let's get going on battling Misty. Well, I don't think we're going to have trouble with Misty. She should be harder than Brock, but still a possible win. As I was battling trainers in the gym to get to Misty, Dr. Time reached level 22 and got the chance to learn Magical Leaf. I totally forgot this was on the moveset, and what great timing learning a grass move in the water gym. Staryu is a one-shot with this new move, and Starmie goes down in 2 hits. There really isn't anything else to say about this fight. Okay, let's get going on the SS Anne. We do some battles and we quickly make it to the point where we have another rival battle. Does it feel like we are participating in a rival battle in every turn in this game? Pidgeotto strikes first with Quick Attack, but our newly acquired Psybeam easily one-shots it. War Turtle actually survives a Magical Leaf, but just wastes a turn with a withdrawal, so we take it out with the same move in the next turn. That being said, Raticate can't handle Magical Leaf, so it's an easy one-shot. That move also does a good job against Kadabra considering it will resist our Psybeam. It just uses Kinesis, so it soon goes down. Another really easy fight. Honestly, we'll probably have the same kind of experience when it comes to Lieutenant Surge. Oh yeah, we're having another great battle for this badge run. Voltorb and Pikachu are both one-shots with Psybeam. Raichu barely survives, paralyzes us with a Thunder Wave, and then Lieutenant Surge gives it a Super Potion. Even though it is not at full health after healing up, it still survives a Psybeam. Because of that, it hits us with a Shockwave, but easily gets taken out by one more Psybeam. Well, I guess it's time for us to head to Rock Tunnel, which is actually matching how the rest of the challenge has been going so far. Mr. Mime is almost a perfect Pokemon for Rock Tunnel. All these rock and ground types, Magical Leaf. Everything else, Psybeam. We have a really solid answer for basically everything in this cave. Yeah, I know this wasn't going to be the hardest challenge, but we are having an extremely efficient run here. So far, I'm surprised we haven't had a single major hurdle to handle. Have we even fainted once in this challenge so far? This is kind of looking like my Farfetch run. Anyway, we are now in Lavender Town, which means another rival battle. It's another fun one. Well, it's really short. Actually, so I don't know if fun is the right word. Pidgeotto is a one-shot with Psybeam, War Turtle is a one-shot, this time with Magical Leaf, Psybeam for Growlithe, and surprisingly for Execute as well. It was a critical hit, but still. Actually, we keep the critical hits going as we land another one on Kadabra with another Magical Leaf. Yeah, 5 one-shots and a no damage sweep. I'd act like our next battle will be tougher, but it's Erica, so that won't be true. I mean, Victreebel and Vileplume are part poison, so Psybeam obviously takes them out in one hit. Tangela also can't withstand a single Psybeam, so again, we have an all one-shot, no damage sweep. With half the badges now in hand, it's time to beat Team Rocket at the game corner. We get to Giovanni rather quickly, one because I'm trying to skip battlers at this point in the game since we have a significant level lead, so we don't really need the experience here. And 2 because the Team Rocket grunts have a lot of poison types and Psychic moves are great in this situation. Meanwhile, Giovanni likes ground types, so Magical Leaf easily one-shots Onix. Kangaskhan gets taken to half health from a Psybeam. It just uses a Tail Whip, and I thought we would then knock it out with another Psybeam, but it's still hanging on with a Sliver. Getting hit by Mega Punch is actually kind of scary, but Kangaskhan goes down in the next turn. We are in yellow health, but Rhyhorn is pretty slow, so we just use a Magical Leaf and one-shot it. Okay, we got the Silph Scope, so we are moving through Pokemon Tower, save Mr. Fuji, and get the Pokeflute. Take the bike path to Fuchsia, and before you know it, we are battling Koga. But like I mentioned before, Psychic works really well against poison types, especially since we got the new attack, Psychic, recently, so Koga's whole team never stood a chance. Maybe we will finally have a challenge with the Silph-Co rival battle. Psychic does a lot of damage to Pidgeot, but it's still standing. We take a little damage from a wing attack, but we soon take Pidgeot down. Blastoise uses a Protect right out of the gate, but when Magic Leaf does hit, it doesn't even take it to half health. Meanwhile, Bite is doing a sizable chunk of damage. The good thing is Blastoise isn't sticking with that move all the time because it often goes back to using Protect. Doing all that, we land some Magical Leaves and eventually take Blastoise down. Growlithe comes out but immediately goes down to a Psychic. That move also does a good job against Execute, especially when you consider the fact it resists Psychic moves. Of course, since it is still standing, it paralyzes Dr. Time with a Stun Spore. Then, thanks to the speed drop, it hits us with a Confusion. Next turn we get to attack, and of course, Execute can't survive another Psychic, so all that is left is Alakazam, which opens with a Future Sight. Magical Leaf is doing well, and it helps that Alakazam is wasting turns trying to do back-to-back Future Sights. Yeah, that doesn't work. And after a few more Magical Leaves, we win the battle. Well, that was a close one, but we still won on the first try. Giovanni was actually a more surprising battle. Nidorino, unsurprisingly, went down to a single Psychic. Nidoqueen takes a lot of damage from Psychic, but is still standing in the yellow, which leads to us getting paralyzed from her Body Slam. Due to this paralysis, we do take a series of double kicks, but eventually we get another Psychic to stick for a knockout. Kangaskhan is next, and Mega Punch is scary at this point. We unfortunately get paralyzed the next two turns, but all Kangaskhan does are a series of Tail Whips, which is honestly just messing with us now. We get another Psychic to land, and it does a special defense drop, so maybe we can still win this. Oh, never mind. There's that Mega Punch I was dreading. Okay, let's give this another go. Another Psychic to one-shot Nidorino. Same plan as last time when it comes to Nidoqueen. We just need to hope we don't get paralyzed from a Body Slam. Well, Nidoqueen just does a Tail Whip, which isn't ideal for our defense, but at least we didn't take damage or become paralyzed in that turn. We soon take it out with Psychic. We are in a better spot against Kangaskhan. Well, we do flinch from a Fake Out. The Psychic is doing great work here, and Kangaskhan goes down while we're still in green health. Rhyhorn is last, and Magical Leaf wraps this battle up nicely. Now, let's see how things are going as we face Sabrina. Magical Leaf knocks out Kadabra in 2 turns. Psychic is a one-shot against Venomoth. Next up is a Mr. Mime versus Mr. Mime mirror match. Magical Leaf is doing alright here, and it's a lot better than the opposing Psybeam. Both Mr. Mime spam their opening moves, and from there we easily come out on top of this exchange. Now we just have to focus on Alakazam. Magical Leaf is doing a little less damage than it did against Mr. Mime, and Alakazam is going for its big move Psychic. That being said, we get close to knocking Alakazam out, but it soon uses Recover. Soon after, we get hit by Future Sight and set up a substitute. Before we know it, we are back to dealing with Alakazam at full health, but with some great luck, we managed to take it down with 2 Magical Leafs. I knew we were going to be able to resist Sabrina's Psychic moves, but I wasn't sure if Magical Leaf was actually going to get us the win. That was a little close, but hey, we got the win. Well, we are now getting really close to the last leg of the gym badge run, and we waste no time getting to Cinnabar Island and getting the key from the Pokemon Mansion. The level lead is smaller here, but I think we can win this battle at this point. Growlithe is an easy one-shot with Psychic. Arcanine loses a little over half of its health from a Psychic, misses a Fire Blast, and then goes down from the second Psychic. That was the biggest threat in the whole team, so this is great. Ponyta is a one-shot like Growlithe. Rapidash withstands Psychic like Arcanine, but not as well. It does land a Fire Blast, unlike Arcanine, but we are still on the green and land one more Psychic to end the battle. Okay, let's beat Giovanni one more time. But first, let's look at how things are going with us now reaching level 50. Ignore the terrible attack stat. We haven't used it for the whole run, and I think that statement will be true for the rest of the game. I am worried about our defense considering Giovanni is going to rely on physical attacks. Other than that, everything else is looking great. Hopefully we attack fast and hard with that speed and special attack stat, and this battle will end with no complications. I mean, we also have Magical Leaf, which is making this battle extremely easy. Nidoqueen and Nidoking get knocked out by Psychic due to them being part poison. Yeah, those are one-shots too. This was an extremely uneventful battle, which is good because we actually had a huge obstacle in front of us soon after. The rival battle before Victory Road I actually won on the first try. There's just one problem. I never actually hit record on that, so I have no footage, and so that battle doesn't technically count. From there, I did 8 other attempts before we got around to another win. Why are we struggling so much here? Well, the high level lead we had is now all gone. Blastoise is actually 1 level higher than us, and that right there is a big source of our problems. I know Magical Leaf is not the best grass move, and it's not stab in our case, but matters are even worse when you realize that Blastoise has a pretty solid special defense. We need to withstand several turns of it using the super effective bite if we want to take Blastoise down with that move, and that is rough. We often knock Blastoise out, but we end this part of the battle in red health. The rest of the team doesn't do much until we get to Execute, which often paralyzes us with Stun Spore. We usually knock it out in the end, but from here, with low health and bad paralysis luck, we can't withstand Alakazam and we easily go down. Like I said, it took 8 tries, and on that attempt, we take Pidgeot out with 2 Psychics like we have always done. We also take some damage from a Wing Attack as usual. Now with Blastoise, we have changed gears and we're sticking with Psychic instead of Magical Leaf. It is doing a little better, which I'm very thankful for. Can't do anything about Bite, but it's nice to have a little more attack power to make this exchange last one less turn. The silver lining is that we are in yellow health now instead of the usual red. Rhyhorn goes down to single Magical Leaf, and Growlithe goes down from 1 Psychic. Just like in all previous attempts, Execute can still be a threat, but part of the reason this attempt is the winning one is that its Stun Spore misses, allowing us to take it out with another Psychic and no status conditions. This puts us in a really good spot for Alakazam, where we just spam Magical Leaf while it uses moves like Future Sight and Psychic. From there, we take it out with a 3rd Magical Leaf, avoiding the Future Sight. Finally, we have a recorded win, which means the Elite Four is before us. Well, actually not quite. That battle was kind of a wake-up call, and I think we need to make some changes if we want better success in beating the Elite Four. So, before dealing with Victory Road, I go to Celadon and spend a lot of money on coins at the game corner to get the team for Thunderbolt. We really need another attack, and Substitute hasn't done a thing for us. Well, actually, we have basically just used Magical Leaf and whatever Psychic move we've had at the moment in this whole run. I figured Thunderbolt would be key because it hits hard, has good accuracy, and electric moves cover a lot of the Elite Four Pokemon that we will have to face really soon. Besides that, I also go through all the trouble of catching 30 Pokemon to get the item finder so we can get leftovers by beating Snorlax. We really need the extra healing in some of these battles. Once all of that is done, we then go through Victory Road and I make sure that we battle every trainer so Dr. Time can reach level 60 before the Elite Four. By the time we get all this done, things are looking real promising. Like I said, before the Giovanni fight, ignore the physical attack stat, that is so useless in this game. I'm really not thrilled about the fact our defense is still in the double digits by this point of the game, but I am loving that speed and the special defense of 168 is terrific. Well, let's see how this all holds up against Lorelei. I'm so glad we have Thunderbolt for this battle. Magical Leaf isn't helpful considering this is an ice-based team, and even though a lot of this team is part water, it still wouldn't amount to much. That being said, Lapras is hard to take down, and because of that, we take a lot of damage from Body Slam. No paralysis though, so that's great. But because of that, we almost go down from Slowbro Surf, and we don't heal up enough to outlast Jinx. Well, I think we can still win this battle at this level, so here we go again. Second attempt goes well at the start when it comes to knocking out Dugong with 2 Thunderbolts. We do take some damage from an Ice Beam, but we're still a-okay. Lapras is next, and we're still switching to using Psychic against it. I'm a little scared of being confused by Confuse Ray, but we get really lucky soon after with us not being confused in the next turn, and our Psychic is a critical hit. Yay, no more paralysis fear. Cloyster is an easy one-shot with a Thunderbolt. Against Slowbro, we are trying to use Magical Leaf, but we instead hit ourselves Confusion, which is really unfortunate since it immediately uses an Amnesia as its opening move. Great, we hit ourselves Confusion on the next turn too. Slowbro then makes matters a little worse by using a Yawn. The good thing is we snap out of Confusion, but Thunderbolt is hitting a little below half health and Slowbro just did another Amnesia. So now it's going to do even less. But for now, we need to see how long we will be asleep from that Yawn. It's nice that Slowbro wasted a turn using Yawn while we're still asleep. Well, that didn't last long. We wake up, Thunderbolt takes Slowbro to yellow health, but we also just got hit by another Yawn. Before we fall asleep, we get Slowbro to just a sliver, and we get hit by Surf. While we are asleep, Lorelei heals Slowbro to full health, and we soon wake up and get hit by another Yawn and Surf. But we're still trying to use Thunderbolt to take Slowbro out. We soon fall asleep again, and Slowbro wastes another turn using Yawn. But we also get hit by another Surf. We soon wake up and use another Thunderbolt, so now we're both in yellow health. We stay in yellow health even after we get hit by another Surf, but fortunately, one more Thunderbolt hits strong enough to take Slowbro out. Geez, that took a while. Let's see if fighting Jinx will be shorter. Well, Thunderbolt is back to hitting hard and it paralyzes, so this is a better start. but soon after, we fall asleep again. This time thanks to Level Kiss. I hope the paralysis prevents Jinx from hitting us while we're asleep, but unfortunately we get hit by an Ice Punch and we are barely standing with 8 health remaining. We then get extremely lucky and wake up next turn and land one more Thunderbolt for us to get this very narrow win. That was extremely close, but at least these next 2 battles should be real easy wins. Well, so far that's true when it comes to battling Bruno. Both of the Onyxes are one-shots with Magical Leaf, while Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee are one-shots with Psychic. The champ comes really close to being knocked out by Psychic. It just survives with a Sliver. It just uses a bulk up, but of course it is soon healed up with a full restore. The next Psychic lands, and this one hits hard enough for the one-shot. Good to know that was still in damage range for the easy knockout. I love a no damage sweep in the Elite Four. We get the same outcome when we face Agatha. We one-shot the whole team with Psychic except Golbat, which goes down to Thunderbolt. Her team might sit around Ghost typing, but in Generation 1 that just means she's really sporting the poison team Koga dreams of. I am afraid though that our easy battles have come to an end because Lance will not be a cakewalk. It's not like we are particularly weak to dragon types, but these are stronger Pokemon with harder hitting moves. Gyarados though is easy to take care of with Thunderbolt since it is 4 times weak to electric moves. But REDyTay is faster than us, and even though it is also weak to electricity, it is still standing in yellow health after a Thunderbolt. It gets a full restore soon after, which gives us the opportunity to knock it out with 2 Thunderbolts. Unfortunately, we are now in yellow health from all the wing attacks we endured. Lance's big gun, Dragonite, is now out. Thunderbolt might be an attractive move since it is part flying, but don't forget, it is also part dragon, so it is really only doing normal damage. Because of that, I decided to see how well Psychic does. It takes about a third of its health, and its special defense drop is really appreciated, but its opening move is another wing attack, and this one hits more than hard enough to knock us out. I tried to see if we could still get a win at this level, and it never really comes close to happening, especially if we get hit by Hyper Beam, because our defense is still terrible. Well, we do have 5 rare candies, so maybe this is all we need to get the edge to win this match. Well, it took several attempts at level 67 because even though we do have more firepower attack-wise, our defense hasn't really progressed far enough to withstand Hyper Beam. Wing attacks can still add up at this level too. Since a win still doesn't seem possible at this level, I cut our losses and go back to Victory Road to grind some more. I'm going to aim for another 5 levels and see how things look at level 72. Gyarados is still a one-shot, so that's nothing new. What is new is that we are now faster than Aerodactyl and we can take it out with 1 Thunderbolt. We're still at full health when we get to Dragonite, and Psychic comes really close to getting it to half health. Wing attack is still scary at this level, dealing a substantial amount of damage. Thankfully, the leftovers are providing some extra healing. Another Psychic does a good job bringing Dragonite to deep red health. It helps that Dragonite wastes a turn using a Safeguard and heals up a little from a berry. Hopefully that heal is enough for Lance not to use a full restore. Crap, no, he still uses one. Well, Thunderbolt was supposed to finish it, but at least it does some decent damage. We are back to getting Dragonite to red health with another Psychic, but then Disaster strikes with its Fallen Wing attack being a massive critical hit, bringing us to 9 health. We're getting about 10 HP per turn from leftovers, but we cannot take any hits for a while if we want to stay in this battle. Taking Dragonite out with a Psychic helps us by giving us another turn of healing. We really need to one-shot these next 2 Dragonairs. The first one meets that fate with a Psychic. Can we do the same to the second one? Psychic hits hard enough for another one-shot. Finally, we beat Lance, and now there's just one more battle before we become champions. Our rival gave us a lot of issues last time, but will it be a different story at this level? Well, we didn't have Thunderbolt last time when we faced them, so that move is perfect for Pidgeot. It survives with what has to be 1 health and hits us with a Sand Attack, which I am not thrilled about. That being said, we were able to one-shot it with another Thunderbolt even after it got a full restore. Arcanine is next and hits us with an extreme speed while our next move misses. Next turn, we are back to being faster and Psychic lands to bring Arcanine to yellow health. I was scared of Flamethrower, but we are sporting gray special defense, so we are still in the green after it lands. Arcanine soon faints from another Psychic. Blastoise soon follows, and I'm hoping Thunderbolt does a lot of damage here. It's not a one-shot, but I'll take that, especially since all it does is a Rain Dance. Thunderbolt doesn't miss, and Blastoise goes down easily while we don't suffer a single bite. Alakazam also loses a lot of health from Thunderbolt, while its Psychic hardly does anything to us. Another Thunderbolt would cause this easy knockout, if it didn't miss, and what really stings is that now Alakazam can use Recover, which almost takes it to full health. Thunderbolt takes it back to yellow, and Alakazam setting up Reflect doesn't scare me at all. So one more Thunderbolt knocks Alakazam out. Rhydon is extremely easy to take care of with Magic Leaf, so now we just have Exeggutor. We don't have a good move against it, so we use Psychic. It doesn't do much, but that's not as annoying as being put to sleep by Sleep Powder. Egg Bomb hits harder than I was expecting. Luckily, we soon wake up, but now we have to deal with all of our moves being weaker due to Exeggutor setting up a Light Screen. Jeez, we were close to beating the whole game if the Light Screen didn't exist. Psychic would easily cause a faint in normal circumstances, and oh great, we are asleep again. And our rival uses a full restore on Exeggutor. We get hit by another Egg Bomb, but we soon wake up. Psychic isn't doing much, but it does drop our opponent's special defense. Oh good, and the Light Screen faded. Perfect. With that buff gone and the lowered special defense, our next Psychic does a lot of damage, bringing Exeggutor to yellow health. From there, Exeggutor's Sleep Powder misses, then our Psychic misses, then its second Sleep Powder misses, then our second Psychic lands to knock it out, allowing us to finally beat the game. Once again, we are Pokemon champions. I would battle Mewtwo, but I don't feel like doing all the post-game stuff needed to encounter it, so we're just going to wrap it up here. To be honest, this didn't feel like much of a challenge. This is definitely one of my shorter scripts. Mr. Mime is clearly a strong Psychic type, no doubt about that. Mewtwo and Alakazam might be the two Psychic types you think of first when it comes to this generation, but Mr. Mime could easily hold its own when navigating through this game. I knew that Ghost types weren't going to be too scary still due to all the Ghost types in this game being part poison, but I was hoping that the introduction of Dark types in this remake would give us more issues. Well, Blastoise had Bite, which did cause some problems, I'll admit that. Anyway, Mr. Mime is really well equipped for this game. I am curious to see if that's true in my next challenge. We're going to see how well we can do trying to beat Pokemon Red with one Kangaskhan. The Pokemon has a lot going for it, but that doesn't mean this will be an easy one. But you'll have to tune in for the next video to see about that. In the meantime, check out some of my other challenges, and please don't forget to like the videos, subscribe for updates, and leave comments about what you've enjoyed, what challenges you'd like to see in the future, and any suggestions you have for improving these videos. I always appreciate creative input when it comes to making these. Thanks for watching everyone, and until next time, Geronimo.